This is a series of Balkan music lessons. It covers its specific features, such as ornamentation, non-traditional time signatures, rhythms, and styles. This unit is called How to Play Balkan Mordents. It's focused primarily on the basic exercises for playing mordents technically fast. So let us look to the treble side of the accordion. The first little step is to play C major scale with a half step mordents on each note with the correct fingering. We will play the mordents only with these two fingers, second and middle. And let us play it a little bit faster. The next step is the exercise on thirds, and we will use the first finger and the middle finger. And now we have some building blocks and we can combine these two exercises together. And let us play it a little bit faster. It is important to remember that the first pattern is played by these two fingers, second and middle. The second pattern is played by the first and middle finger. The second little step is to play C major scale with a half step mordents on each note with the correct fingering. So let us start. We will play the whole step mordents on each note with only two fingers, second and middle. let us play this exercise a little bit faster. And the exercise on thirds remained the same, with the same fingering, using the first finger and the middle finger. And now we can combine these two little steps into one good exercise. And let me play it a little bit faster. Join us next time as we continue to explore the Balkan ornamentation. Thanks for watching! This unit is called How to Play Inverted Balkan Mordents. It's focused primarily on basic exercises for playing inverted Balkan mordents technically fast. So let us look to the treble side of the accordion. The first little step is to play C major scale with a half step inverted mordents on each note with the correct fingering. We will move downwards. And we will play the inverted mordents with only two fingers, middle and second. So let me play it a little bit faster. And the full speed. So the next little step is to add two more notes to each inverted mordent pattern. So we will have little sequences. We will use the C major scale, so you can easily watch and learn the exercise. At the beginning, we will play these sequences without inverted mordents, and with only three fingers: middle, second, and the first. A little bit faster. And now we have to combine these two little exercises into one good exercise. So let's start. We will play these patterns with only 3 fingers: middle, second, and first. And let me play it a little bit faster. And even faster. The second part of our lesson is focused on playing whole step inverted mordents. So let's start. The first little step is to play a C major scale with a whole step inverted mordents. We will play the whole step inverted mordents also with only 2 fingers, middle and second. A little bit faster. And at the full speed. The next little exercise is to make a sequences like we did it before. So let's start. At the beginning, we will play these little sequences without a whole step inverted mordents and with only 3 fingers, middle, second, and the first. We will use the same C major scale, so it will be easier for you to watch and learn. And let me play it a little bit faster. Our next step is to add a whole step inverted mordents to these sequences. So let's start. And let me play it a little bit faster. at full speed. Maybe you've noticed that some of the inverted mordents in this exercise were half step. But it is okay because we used the C major scale. And join us for the next time as we continue to explore the Balkan ornamentation, rhythms, and styles. Thanks for watching. This unit is called chord, right hand in instrument position and registration in Moldavian and Romanian music. So let us look to the treble side of the instrument. The chord position should look like this, with the fingers round, not flat. You can imagine like you are holding a tennis ball in your hand. And the hand should be very relaxed. The correct right hand position is one of the most important things in playing accordion, especially when you play Balkan music, because it affects too much on your speed. And let me also speak about the right elbow position and about the instrument position. The elbow position should be like this, not like this or even this. Also, it is important to stand straight with the accordion, not like this. And now let me speak about the registration in Moldavian and Romanian music. So let's start. These registers were clarinet and bassoon. Because of their smooth, rich and deep sound, the 95% of Moldavian and Romanian music is played on these registers. It is good to have an instrument with a double tone chamber to get a really rich, smooth and deep sound. Also, organ and master switches are sometimes used by the Romanian and Moldavian players. And now, let me make a small excursus to the musical forms in Moldavian and Romanian music. National Moldavian and Romanian pieces and songs are usually simple in form. The first part is usually a refrain. The second part usually includes 2 or 3 couplets. And the last part, we usually repeat the refrain from the beginning. Usually, the last refrain is played for 2 times. So the second time, we will use organ or master switch to show the audience that we're getting closer to the coda. Also, the organ and master switches are used by the Balkan players to change the color, the timbre of the instrument. For example, a refrain. First couplet. Second couplet. refrain for the first time. And organ for the last time. It is very important to have a piano accordion with a double tone chamber and a piccolo to sound like a real Balkan player. Join us for the next time as we continue to explore Balkan ornamentation, rhythms, and styles. Thanks for watching. This unit is called the styles in Moldavian and Romanian music. In this lesson, we will learn how to play a hora style. The hora is a type of a circle dance originating in the Balkans. In Moldova and Romania, this style is called hora. In Bulgaria, horo. In Serbia, kolo. The name of the style is cognate to the Greek word horos, which means circle. And now, I'm gonna play you a classical Moldavian hora with a tempo of approximately 120. And it has a simple 2/4 time signature. You can also download the sheet music of this hora. The link is in the description. And now, I'm gonna teach you how to play this hora. So let us look to the treble side of the accordion. We already know all the basic mordents, and we can easily start to play this hora. The part A of this hora is a refrain, which is repeated identically both at the beginning and at the end of this piece. The first part of this hora is played on the bassoon register. I will play the first part A of this hora in a slow tempo with the only right hand, and it will be easy to understand all the mordents. The main difficulties in the part A of this piece are the mordents. In the first bar we have a half-step mordent, which is placed on the first note. It is identical to the mordent exercises from the first Balkan music lesson. And I'm gonna play the first bar of the part A in slow motion, so you can easily understand all the difficulties. The second bar is simple. There are no mordents in this bar. Just play with the right fingering. In the third bar, we have one half-step inverted mordent. It is identical to the exercises from the second Balkan music lesson. And I'll play this bar in slow motion for you to overcome all the difficulties. The fourth bar is also simple. Just play it with the right fingerings. The fifth bar is identical to the first one. The only thing is that the fifth bar is not in C major, but in G major. The mordent is the same. The sixth bar is also simple, without any mordents. The first part of the seventh bar is identical to the first part of the third bar. Only the fingering is different. The eighth bar is also simple. Just remember about the fingering. The hora is always accompanied with a polka pattern. Bass chord, bass chord. The left hand fingering should be always like this. The bass notes are always played with the middle finger. The chords are always played with the second finger. And now, let us look on the part B of this hora. The part B of this hora is played on the clarinet register. In the first bar, we have a half-step mordent, which is placed on the last note. It is identical to the mordent exercise from the first Balkan music lesson. And let me play it in slow motion to understand all the difficulties. In the second bar, we also have a half-step mordent placed on the last note. It is also identical to the mordent exercise from the first Balkan music lesson. The first part of the third bar in part B is identical to the first part of the third bar in part A. There is one half-step inverted mordent, identical to the mordents in the Balkan music lesson number 2. The next bar is simple. Just play it with the right fingering. The next two bars are identical to the first two bars of this part, but they are in the G major. The 17th bar also has one half-step inverted mordent. The accompaniment in this part is also simple, and we will use the polka pattern. Bass chord, bass chord. These were the main difficulties in the part B of this hora. And now we can start with the part C. The part C is rather simple. The only difficulties are the half-step inverted mordents, but they are identical to the half-step inverted mordents from the part A and part B. This part is also accompanied with a polka pattern, like the previous two parts. And now I'm gonna play this whole part in slow motion. The next part, D, is identical to the part A. The only difference is that the part D has to be played on the organ register for the last time. So these were the main difficulties of this hora. As I said, you can easily download the sheet music with the melody, chords for the left hand and all the fingerings. And join us for the next time as we continue to explore Balkan ornamentation, rhythms and styles. Thanks for watching! This unit is called Grace Notes and Trills in Moldavian and Romanian music. It is focused primarily on playing the Romanian and Moldavian style grace notes and trills technically fast. The sheet music for this lesson you can easily download. The link is in the description. This is the first exercise on grace notes. So let us look to the treble side of the accordion. The first little step of this exercise is to play a C major scale with repetitions, without grace notes. We will go upwards. And we will play this exercise with only two fingers. First and second. The second step is to add a grace note to every second note of the exercise 1. We will use only 3 fingers. First, middle and second. And let me play it a little bit faster. And on a full speed. The second exercise on grace notes is played downwards. The first little step in this exercise is to play a C major scale with repetition without half-step grace notes. We will use only 2 fingers, only our first and middle finger. And let me play it a little bit faster. And now we can add a half-step grace note to every second note of the exercise number 2. We will use only 3 fingers. First, second, and the middle. And let me play it a little bit faster. And on a full speed. And now, let's play the C major scale with repetitions and without whole step grace notes, using only 2 fingers, second and middle. And now we can add a whole step grace note to every second note of this exercise. We will use only 3 fingers, second, first, and the middle. And let me play it a little bit faster. And on a full speed. So these were the main grace notes exercises. And now we can start to discover the Balkan trills. So let's start. All the trills in Moldavian and Romanian music are played half step with only 2 fingers, second and middle. Our first little step is to play a C major scale with half step classical trills on each note with only our second and middle finger. And after this exercise we will discover the specific Moldavian and Romanian trills. So let's start. And let us play it a little bit faster. And in full speed. The Moldavian and Romanian trills are always written like the classical ones, but the player must play the Moldavian and Romanian trills in a different way. Let us imagine 4 8 notes. The second and the third note are connected with a slur. The trill symbol is written on the third note. If we will play this trill in a classical way, it will sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. But Moldavian trill will be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us also imagine a quarter note and 2 8 notes in one bar. The quarter note is connected with the first 8 note with a slur. The trill symbol is on the first 8th note. If we will play this trill in a classical way, it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the Moldavian trill will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of these exercises with the correct fingering and explanations you can easily download. The link is in the description. And join us for the next time as we continue to explore Balkan ornamentation, rhythms and styles. Thanks for watching. This unit is called Sirba style in Moldavian and Romanian music, and it is focused primarily on the main exercises for the Sirba style. And after these exercises, we will be able to play a Sirba. And now let's start our first Sirba exercise. The Sirba style is a poliritmical style, always with a time signature of 2-4. Our first exercise will be poliritmical 2. The key signature of this exercise is A minor. The time signature is simple, 2-4. And let's start with our right hand. We have triplets in the right hand, played by only 3 fingers. First, second and middle. The notes are A, B and C. It is important to play this exercise with the metronome. And for this time I'll count 1, 2, 1, 2. Our left hand is rather simple. It is played with a polka pattern. Bass chord, bass chord. But as you can see, we have a polyrhythmy, because our right hand is playing triplets and our left hand is playing a polka pattern at the same time. Our triplet falls on 2 8 notes in the left hand. And also, an important advice. The left hand for the Sirba is always written, for example, like a 4 8 notes in a 2-4 time signature bar. All these 8 notes are without dots. But the only little trick is to imagine, for example, 8 note with a dot for the bass and a 16th note for the chord. And now we will play as written. And with our little trick. This little trick gonna help you a lot in learning this polyrhythmical style. Because now you can imagine that first 2 notes of the right hand triplet are played together with the left hand bass note. And the last note from the right hand triplet is played together with a chord. And now we can try to combine the hands and play this exercise. A little bit faster. And a full speed. And now I'll play the first part of this sirba in a slow tempo for you to understand all the difficulties. The part A of this sirba is played on a master register. In first two bars we have mordents, but we already know how to play the mordents from the previous lessons. The mordents are described in the first Balkan music lesson. In the bar number 3 we have a grace note, and I'll play this bar in slow tempo for you to understand the difficulty. A little bit faster. And even faster. Also we have an inverted mordent in the bar number 13. The inverted mordents are described in detail in the second Balkan music lesson. So these were the main difficulties in the part A. And now we can start with the part B. The part B is played on the clarinet register. And now I'm gonna play this part in slow tempo for you to understand all the difficulties. The main difficulties in this part are the same: the mordents, the inverted mordents, and the grace notes. But we are already familiar with these difficulties. The part C is identical to the part A. The only difference is that it is played on clarinet register for the first time and with a master switch for the last time. The left hand patterns in this sirba are identical to the polyrhythmical exercise from this lesson. As I said, you can easily download the sheet music of this piece with a melody, chords for the left hand and all the fingerings. And join us for the next time as we continue to explore Balkan ornamentation, rhythms and styles. Thanks for watching. This unit is called Braza Style in Moldavian and Romanian music. Braza is a type of dance with specific syncopated rhythm. As you can see, the key signature in this Braza is E minor and the time signature is 2-4. The rhythm in the right hand is simple. There are no difficult rhythmic patterns. It is similar to the hora style. The rhythm in the left hand is a lot more difficult. It is syncopated. And as we remember, the time signature is 2-4 and one rhythmical pattern and the left hand in this Braza style consists of 2 bars. In the first bar we have 1/8 note played staccato, 1/4 note played marcato, and also 1/8 note played staccato. This is a syncope. In the second bar we have 2/4 notes played non-legato. These 2 bars with their specifical strokes consists only one section in the Braza rhythmical chain. In our first Braza exercise, we will try to play this rhythmical section with only our left hand. And please do not forget about the strokes. And now we can loop first 4 bars of this Braza and we can make a good exercise. Also, you can easily download the sheet music of this Braza. The link is in the description. And now, let us play these first 4 bars in a slow tempo with correct strokes to train the syncopated rhythm of Braza. We will use only 2 fingers, middle and second. So let's start. And now a little bit faster. And in a full speed. And now let me play the part A of this Braza in a slow tempo and explain you all the difficulties in the right hand. And now I'll explain the main difficulties in the part A of this piece. In the bar number 7 we have 1 half-step mordent and 1 half-step inverted mordent. For more information about mordents and inverted mordents, you can watch my first and second Balkan music lesson. In the bar number 8 we have a half-step Moldavian trill. This trill is special and it is played like this. A little bit faster. And in a full speed. To learn more about the Moldavian trills, watch the Balkan lesson number 5. The bar number 9 has a half-step mordent. The bar number 10 has also a half-step Moldavian trill. A little bit faster. And in a full speed. The bar 12 has a simple classical trill, but in Moldavian music the classical trill must be played half-step. And now I'll connect the bar number 11 and the bar number 12, and I'll play you these 2 bars in the slow tempo to show the difficulty. In the bar number 15 we have also a half-step Moldavian trill. A little bit faster. And in a full speed. In the bar number 16 we have the same difficulty. A little bit faster. In a full speed. In the bars number 17 and 18 we have half-step mordents and inverted mordents. In the bar number 19 we have a grace note. And in the bar number 20 a half-step classical trill. And now let's start with the part B. The part B is very short, only 4 bars, and the function of the part B is to connect part A and part C. And now I'll play you the part B in a slow tempo. In the bar number 21, we have a grace note. In the bar number 23, we have also a grace note. In the bar number 24, we have a half-step classical trill. These were the main difficulties in the part B, and now we will start with the part C. The main difficulty in the part C are the grace notes, but we are already familiar with this difficulty, and I'll play the part C in a slow tempo for you to understand the difficulties. Our left hand in this piece is identical to the first left hand Braza exercise. Only the harmony is different, but you can easily download the sheet music of this piece with all the registers, melody, harmony and strokes. The link is in the description. And join us for the next time as we continue to explore the Balkan ornamentation, rhythms and styles. Thanks for watching! This unit is called hortopats style in Moldavian and Romanian music. This dance and music style is called hortopats in Moldova and jampara in Romania, and it is usually written with a 7/16 time signature. Also, it has much in common with the Bulgarian rushenica, found in North Bulgaria. And it is important to note that in Romania and Moldova, the hortopats dances are associated with many national rituals, customs, and they are widely used at the national wedding ceremonies. As you can see, the time signature is 7/16, and the main difficulty in the hortopats style is the rhythm. And now we will start our first hortopats exercise. The time signature of our first exercise is 7/16 and the key signature is E minor. You can easily download all the exercises and pieces. The link is in the description. And let us look on the first hortopats exercise. We will start with only our left hand. A little bit faster. And now we will play with only our right hand. It is an E minor scale, played in hortopats time signature. A little bit faster. With both hands in a slow tempo. little bit faster. And now we can start with the hortopats piece. And we will start with our right hand. The part A is played on the bassoon register. And the main difficulties here are the mordents. You can learn more about the mordents from the first Balkan music lesson. And now I'll play this part in a slow tempo. And now we can look on the left hand in part A of these hortopats. The left hand in part A is similar to the first hortopats exercise. But we also have here some difficulties. In the fourth bar we have a bass line and we have to play the notes in the fourth bar marcato. Also we have the same difficulty in the bars number 8 and 9. And the first two notes in these bars should be played marcato. So these were the main difficulties in the part A. And now we can start with the part B. And we will start with our right hand. The main difficulties in part B are the grace notes and the mordents. You can learn more about the grace notes from the Balkan music lesson number 5. And I'm gonna play the part B in a slow tempo for you to understand all the difficulties. And now we can start with our left hand. The rhythm on the left hand in part B is similar to our first hortopats exercise. In the bar number 13 we have a bass line and we have to play the first two notes in the fourth bar marcato. In the bar number 17 we have the same difficulty and we have to play the first two notes in the bar 17 marcato. So these were the main difficulties in the part B of this piece. And now we can start with the part C. And now I'm gonna play this part in a slow tempo for you to understand all the difficulties. And now we can start with our left hand. The left hand rhythm here is similar to our first hortopats exercise. In the bar number 19 we have a bass line and we must play the first two notes in the bar number 19 marcato. In the bar number 21 we have the same difficulty. The bar number 23 is similar to the bar number 19. In the bar number 25 we also have the same difficulty. So these were the main difficulties in the part C. And the part D is identical to the part A, only the registration is different. The part D is played on the bassoon switch for the first time and with the master switch for the last time. You can easily download all the sheet music with fingerings, melody and chords for the left hand. The link is in the description. And join us for the next time as we continue to explore Balkan ornamentation, rhythms and styles. Thanks for watching! This unit is called the slow hora. This slow hora style is similar to the regular hora, but the difference is that this style is mostly instrumental, not dance style, and it is played in slow tempo, and because of this there are a lot of ornamentations combined in this style. The left hand is always played with bass chord patterns. And now let me show you all the melisms combinations in this hora and explain how to play them. So let's start. And now let me play the first part of this hora in slow tempo with only my right hand. In the first bar we have no mordents. In the second bar we have one inverted mordent and one grace note. In the third bar we have a grace note and inverted mordent combined together. In the bar number 4 we have a regular trill. This is a half-step regular trill. The bar number 6 is identical to the bar number 2. The bars number 7 and 8 are almost identical to the bars number 3 and 4. In the bar number 12 we have a grace note and a regular trill. A little bit faster. Full speed. In the bars number 13, 14 and 15 we have just inverted mordents and regular mordents. And now we can start with the part B. And I'll play the part B in a slow tempo. In the bar number 18 we have a double note, and it must be played like this. In the bar number 20 we have the same difficulty. The bar number 21 is especially difficult, because here we have mordent and 2 grace notes. In the bars number 23 and 24 we have almost the same difficulty. In the bar number 29 we have a grace note and trill combined. This was a regular trill. In the bars number 30 and 31 we have inverted mordents and grace notes. And now let's start with the next part. And now I'll play part C in slow tempo. bar number 36 we have double note and inverted mordent. In the bar number 37 we have a regular trill. In the bar 39 we have a grace note and regular trill combined. In the bar number 40 we have two grace notes. In the bars number 42 and 43 we have inverted mordents and grace notes. And the part D is identical to the part A. The left hand in this hora is always played with bass chord patterns. You can learn more about mordents, inverted mordents, grace notes, trills and Balkan trills from our previous Balkan music lessons. And join us for the next time as we continue to explore Balkan ornamentation, rhythms and styles. Thanks for watching! Our today's unit is called the rustem style in Romanian music. The rustem is a dance style with a musical rhythm based on short-long, usually written in 6/8 or 3/8 time signature. The rustem dances are performed in a circle with low hand hold, and arms which swing forward and back with the steps. The steps include many crossing steps and galloping steps. This musical and dance style is found in South and North Romania. And now let me play the first part of this piece in slow tempo for you to understand all the difficulties. In the first bar we have grace notes and one mordent. In the second bar we have the same difficulty, the grace notes and the mordent. The same difficulty in the third bar. And in the bar number 4 we have double grace note. And now we can start with the part B. And now I'll play the part B in slow tempo for you to understand all the difficulties. In the bar number 5 we have a grace note and inverted mordent combined together, and also a double note. In the bar number 6 we have only one grace note and one mordent. In the bar number 7, we have double grace note and grace notes. In the bar number 8, we have one grace note, one mordent, and one double note. So these were the main difficulties in the part B, and now we can start with the part C. And let me play this part in slow tempo for you to understand all the difficulties. In the bar number 9, we have one inverted mordent, one grace note, and one mordent. In the bar number 10, the same difficulties. On the bar number 11, we have only grace notes. In the bar number 12, only one grace note. So these were the main difficulties in the part C, and now we can start with the part D. And I'll play this part in slow tempo for you to understand all the difficulties. In the bar number 13, we have grace notes and one mordent. The bars number 14 and 15 are identical to the bar number 13. In the bar number 16, we have double grace note and one grace note. The part E is identical to the part A of this piece. The only difference is that the part E is played on the organ switch for the last time. And now we can start with our left hand in this piece. The main difficulty in this piece are not the mordents, grace notes or inverted mordents, because we already know everything about these difficulties. The main difficulty in this piece is the rhythmic patterns in our left hand. And now let me take one bar and look through it in detail. I will play the first bar. Here we have 4/8 notes played staccato and 1/4 note played marcato. Also, you can play the part A of this piece with only your left hand, and it will be a good rustem rhythmical patterns exercise. You can loop the part A and play it with only your left hand for many times, in slow tempo. And then you can increase tempo. And in a full speed. The left hand rhythm is the same in all the parts. So if you learn the left hand in the part A, you will be able to play rustem without problems. So this concludes our The Balkan Lessons video series. Stay tuned for more instructional videos to come. Thanks for watching.